Alright, welcome to my Fortnite Season 6 Ultimate Crafting Guide. So as you can see, I've got a smorgasbord of weapons and items right here. So I'm going to teach you exactly how to craft in Season 6. But the first thing you have to understand are the weapon types. So there are currently 3 weapon types in the game. First up is something called a makeshift weapon. So a makeshift is basically the worst one that you can get. This is the starting item you need to craft any other weapon. You have to have a makeshift weapon. Now you can have any type of makeshift weapon. You can have a pistol, a shotgun, a rifle, an SMG, and a bow. But in order to craft at all, you have to have a makeshift weapon. Now once you do have a makeshift weapon, then you can turn it into one of 2 items. You can turn it into a primal weapon, or you can turn it into a mechanical weapon. So obviously you're going to be very familiar with the word mechanical because it's basically the old loot. So this right here is a mechanical assault rifle. It's literally the assault rifle that we're used to. But the newer weapon is the primal one. So again, you start with a makeshift weapon and then you can decide to either turn it into a primal weapon or a mechanical weapon. So let me just demonstrate that real quick. So I'm going to pick up this makeshift shotgun and then you open up your inventory screen. So everything has changed. It looks completely different. In fact, to even view stats, you have to push another button. And then they remove the numbers. It's just bars down there now. But when an item can be crafted, it'll say recipes available. So simply go over to your crafting option, which on the PlayStation 4 and 5, you hit R1. And this is what most people get confused about because this is a complicated image. I'm not going to lie, but once you get the hang of it, it's not complicated at all. So remember what I said, when you have a makeshift weapon, in this case we have a makeshift shotgun, you then have 2 options. And this is exactly what I was talking about. You can make it a primal shotgun, as you can see here, or you can turn it into a mechanical shotgun, which in this case is just the pump. So primal and mechanical. Now in addition, it'll show you how the weapon gets buffed or nerfed when you upgrade. So for example, it shows damage, fire rate, magazine size, and reload time. It's actually kind of hard to see when something gets nerfed. So they should have made it red. So for example, look at the damage. It actually went down. That grayed out line is how much damage the makeshift shotgun does. The white line is how much this primal shotgun will do. So when you upgrade to this primal, you actually lose damage. However, for the fire rate, you can see the green line. That makes it go up in fire rate. Magazine size, it also goes up. Now it's really tough to tell, but I think the reload time actually goes down. So basically you get a buff to your fire rate, magazine size, and a nerf to your damage and reload time. And that's with the primal. Now if you wanted to go the mechanical route and turn it into a pump, it looks like your damage gets just ever so slightly increased. Your fire rate decreases, which is bad. Your magazine size increases, and your reload time gets better. So below the stats, you can see the next part of crafting, which are the ingredients required. So like I said, you always need a makeshift weapon, and that's on the left. You can see we've got a check mark there because we do have that. But then it tells us the other requirements. So for the primal shotgun, you need 4 animal bones. That's one of the resources right there. I do not have those in my inventory, so there's an X. We cannot do that. For the mechanical shotgun, you need 4 mechanical parts. So for either of these, we need 4 of a certain resource. So let's mosey over here to my resource table. So there's 3 different resources. Here's the mechanical part. It looks like a giant gear. Here's the animal bone. It looks like a vertebrae from an animal. And the third resource is something called the stink sack. Now I've got separate clips showing you where exactly to find all 3 of those, and I'll cut to those in a minute. But I'm just showing you the 3 resources. So when I gather these, look at where they go, right here, in the resource spot. There's only 3 currently, but I imagine they're going to add more. So this is an animal bone. You can see it right here. It's like 3 vertebrae stuck together. So there's a few ways to get animal bones, but the easiest method is by hunting the wildlife. So there's wild boars, which are pigs. There's actually wolves, there's chickens, and there's frogs. The frogs will only give you stink sacks and not animal bones. So you have to take out a boar, a wolf, or a chicken. So this is what the boar looks like right here. And of course they will attack you, so you have to be very, very careful. And upon eliminating a wildlife specimen, they do have a lot of HP by the way. You will receive meat and bones. So the boar dropped 2 animal bones and 1 piece of meat. And the meat will heal you for 15 HP. Now the next wild animal is the chicken. And this one, just like the frog, is super, super fast. But if you do manage to catch this one, you can actually fly with it, which I'm sure people have seen. So you grab it, and then you can fly through the air, which is super helpful. But in terms of crafting, you want to take one of these out because you get meat as well as animal bones. So chickens drop 1 animal bone and 1 piece of meat. Now the last wildlife creature are the wolves themselves. Now they are usually a pack animal, so where you see 1, there's usually at least 2 or 3. So in this case there's only 2. Whoa! So they'll cycle around you and then they'll go in for the kill. And they have quite a lot of HP, I'm not gonna lie. So they are the best by far at getting animal bones. Look, he's raged because I killed his friend. Hey, don't eat my stuff! Hey! So they drop 3 animal bones. I killed 2 of them, that's why there's 6 there. And 2 pieces of meat each, but it ate 1 of them. So 3 bones and 2 pieces of meat from each wolf. Like I said, the best way to get animal bones, but they're kind of rare. You see a lot more chickens and frogs and boars than you do wolves. At least I do, at least. Now, another great way to get animal bones is by farming it. Believe it or not, there's places where you can actually farm animal bones. You have to find skeletons such as this Triceratops, so watch when I hit it. It dropped some bone right here, animal bones. Same thing for this, it looks like a vertebrae. Just break it and it'll drop some more bones. So be on the lookout, there's tons of skeletons on the map. You just have to watch for them. So even these little teeny tiny skulls right here will drop you animal bones. So keep your eyes peeled. These skulls and things like that are all over the place. Now another resource is called the Stink Sack. And this is the funniest name I've ever read in Fortnite. But in order to get one of these, you have to eliminate a frog. So this is what the frog looks like right here. They're very crafty. They're slippery. No pun intended. They're very hard to catch. So you may have to sneak up on them. They're easy to take out, of course, but look how fast he is. But when you eliminate one of these guys, he drops a stink sack right here. This is a stink sack. So it says crafting ingredient right there. And you can just walk over that. It does not go in your actual inventory. It goes right here under your resources. Stink sack. So the next resource to cover are the mechanical parts. And this is what they look like. Sort of like a gear. So the best places to collect these are from cars that have the yellow boots on them, or from buses on the map, or from trucks, or things like that. I'll show you. The best place on the entire map is definitely this junkyard right here. So when you destroy these cars that are smushed down, it pops out one of these. So you can also break these, just like that. And look at that. One part just came out. So super easy to just go through and break all of the smushed, compacted cars and get as many mechanical parts as you want. Watch this. I mean, you just go through here and destroy all these, and you've got parts for days. So let's see how many we collected here. I'm just going to go through and grab them all. How about a rusted out car? Do these give you any? Yes. So the rusted cars definitely do. You can see there's actually quite a few in this specific area. So be sure to hit all of those. So here's a booted car. Let me show you what happens when you hit this. So they don't actually pop out. Watch above my materials. It'll show that I get one every few seconds. Right there. It showed that I got one right there. So it didn't actually pop out of the vehicle. It just literally appeared above my materials. Now, I'm not sure if it works on non-booted cars. Let's try. I feel like you don't get as many, if any, at all. There, okay, I got one. So maybe it's the same. But obviously, if you find a larger vehicle, such as a booted truck, you're going to get tons of mechanical parts from it. And here's an example of one of the buses that I was referring to. Obviously, if you break one of these, it's going to leave it behind. Right there. Now, lastly, you can get these from NPCs in 2 ways. If you talk to an NPC now in Season 6, they will automatically give you a piece of free loot. It could be mechanical parts, it could be bones, it could be a weapon, healing items, things like that. So that's one way to do it. The other way is that some of the NPCs actually sell these. 10 gold for one of these. And they sell up to 10. So check the NPCs, talk to them, see if they sell these parts if you're looking for them. So just like that, I already have 24 of these. Now, obviously, you don't need 24. That's way excessive. And in fact, in a real match, I've never had more than 10 at a time. So now that I have the required resources in my inventory, you can see that I now can craft. So whichever one I want to pick, I simply hover over and hit square. So let me pick up a weapon that's not a makeshift one. Remember, you need a makeshift to begin. So let me pick up the normal assault rifle. Then I go to crafting, and you can see I can't do anything with it. There's nothing I can craft with this. So we're going to drop that back. So let's pick back up the makeshift shotgun. Then we go to our inventory, and I want the pump shotgun. So I'm going to do this. It's going to take 4 mechanical parts and my makeshift weapon. Here we go. Craft. So it only takes 3 seconds, and then you've got your finished product right here, the pump shotgun. Now, it's the same thing for other weapon types. So first, if I want to upgrade a rifle, we're going to get a makeshift rifle. And then we're going to go, same thing, into our inventory. And then we have the same 2 options, a primal rifle or a mechanical rifle, which is just the assault rifle. So let me show you something interesting here. So here's another makeshift rifle. This one is uncommon. So in my inventory, I have a normal makeshift rifle and an uncommon makeshift rifle. This is the part I really don't understand. So I can turn this makeshift rifle into a primal green rifle for, again, 4 animal bones and the makeshift weapon itself. Or I could go over to this one and turn it into a rare or blue one for the same price. For whatever reason, it costs exactly the same to upgrade a rarity. Does that make sense? So for example, if I had a blue makeshift rifle, I could turn it into a purple one for just 4 animal bones. And that's the same price to do this one into a green one. So that's the part I don't understand. I thought that the higher up the rarity, the more animal bones it would take, but that's not the case. It's always 4. So you can see that right here. Again, I could craft this green one into a blue one for 4 animal bones, or I can spend the same amount, 4 animal bones, to turn it into a green one. So like I said, that doesn't make any sense. You would think this would take 8 animal bones because it's going from green to blue, but no, it's the same. So again, even if I had a blue makeshift rifle, I could turn it into a purple one for 4 animal bones, which is the same price to turn a gray one into a green one. So you can see how I'm confused by that. But let me just show you. So I have 26 animal bones right here, and I'm going to turn this into a primal rifle. Here we go. And as you can see, 22 is what I have left. So it only takes 4, no matter the rarity. I like that myself, but like I said, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So that's the basic gist for the normal weapons. And by normal, I mean shotgun, pistol, SMG, and rifle. When we talk about bows, we're going to talk about something a little bit different. But again, find yourself a makeshift weapon. They come in all sorts of rarities. I got some gray ones. I've got some green ones. Whatever rarity, but it has to be makeshift. Pick it up. Make sure you have the required resources, which again are either bones or mechanical parts, and then choose which one you want. If you want a fast-firing, large magazine weapon, go with primal. If you want the old loot that you're used to, go with mechanical. And that's all there is to it for that. Okay, so let's talk about bows. So these are a little different. Unlike the shotgun, rifle, pistol, and SMG, which again require a makeshift weapon, these don't really require it. And I'll prove that to you in just a second. So here's a makeshift bow, and these are our options. We can do the same thing. We can turn it into a primal bow, or we can turn it into a mechanical bow. So same thing, it'll take 4 animal bones for a primal bow, or 4 mechanical parts for a mechanical bow. And that's just like we talked about before. That's all the same. So let's say I turn this makeshift bow into a primal bow. Here it is right here. So with the other weapon categories, like the shotgun, once you upgrade it to either primal or mechanical, that's it. So for example, look, I can't craft this anymore. But with the bows, even though this is now a primal bow, I can still do more to it. So with the bows, there's additional things that you can do, which you can't do to the shotgun, the pistol, the rifle, or the SMG. I hope that makes sense. So let me just show you one more time. So if you only have a makeshift bow, you can turn it into a primal or a mechanical. And then once you do that, then you can upgrade it even further if you want. So I have a primal bow here, so I'm going to turn this makeshift one into a mechanical one. So again, we have the required 4 mechanical parts. All we have to do is hit craft, and then we're going to get the mechanical bow. So now I have a primal bow and a mechanical bow. Let's check the stats and see which one is actually better. I'm not real sure. So holy smokes, look at the damage on the mechanical bow. That thing is massively more powerful than the primal. Look at that. However, the fire rate, as you can see, is much faster on the primal one. When I swap back and forth, you can see the differences here. But the main selling points are that the mechanical bow is really, really strong with a slow fire rate. And then the primal bow is somewhat strong with a faster fire rate. So you may be thinking, well, why would anyone go for the primal bow if you can get the more powerful mechanical bow? And the reason is you can craft more with the primal one. So let me just prove that to you here. Let's go to the mechanical bow and we'll go over. So you can see that you can turn it into a mechanical explosive bow or a mechanical shockwave bow. Now you need 6 grenades for the explosive bow and 2 shockwaves for the shockwave bow. So now let's go to the primal bow. Well, I say you can craft it 4 times, but in actuality, it just gives you more options. So you can see that you can turn it into a Primal Stink Bow, a Flame Bow, then the same thing again, a Flame Bow and a Stink Bow, just with different resources. So I guess you just have more ways to craft with this, even though you basically only can turn it into 2 things. So everybody loves the Shockwave Bow, and the only way to achieve this is with the mechanical one. Likewise, the only way to achieve the explosive one is with the mechanical. But if you want the awesome Stink or Flame Bow, you have to go the primal route. So it just depends on what you want. Also of note, if you hover over an item, it'll tell you if it's craftable. So right now I'm holding the mechanical bow, and you can't do the stinkfish with this. But with the primal one, you can. Now watch this. It'll say right down there, Craft Primal Stink Bow. You can literally do it from this screen right here. So in order to make the Primal Stink Bow, you need a stink sack or 3 of the stink fish. So here's the stink fish. Again, I'm going to try it from this screen. I've never done this before, but it says right there, press triangle. So let's do it. Yes. Right there. It picks it up and it crafts it all in one. Nice little hotkey there. So now we have the Primal Stink Bow. And of course you can't craft this anymore. This is its final form. Now if you haven't used this yet, you have to power it all the way up, and when it flashes, a stink wave will come out. So let's do it again. You aim, you hold the fire button until it flashes, and then the stink effect happens. Now when you shoot it, it's like throwing a stink bomb. Pretty sweet. If you shoot it right away, I don't know if it still does it. Let's see. No. So you have to power it up, see the trail, then shoot it, and there's the stink effect. 5 damage a pop. Incredible. This is one of my favorite items in the game. The stink bow. It's so annoying. So the other option is the Primal Flame Bow, and you only need 1 Firefly jar or 1 gas can. So I'm in Battle Lab right now, and neither of these are available in Battle Lab, but I found one in a chest right here. So I can show you what it does regardless. So again, to make the Flame Bow, you need a Primal one, and then you can upgrade it to a Flame with a gas can or a Firefly jar. And you can see, by the way, that the Stink Bow is a little more powerful. If I cycle through these, look at the stats. The damage on the Primal Flame Bow just goes up a little, but on the Stink Bow, it goes up a little bit more. So Stink is more powerful and more annoying, but the Flame will light things on fire. So here's the Flame Bow right here. Again, you have to hold down the shoot button until the flame ignites, and then and only then will the fire effect go out. Watch this. So this will light any wood structures on fire. Again, super annoying. So primal equals annoying when it comes to the bows. So now let's go to the mechanical bow, and you can do 2 different things here. Again, the explosive bow or the shockwave bow. And the explosive bow does more damage, as you can see when I cycle through these. The damage is much more increased with the explosive as opposed to the shockwave. So I've got 6 grenades right here. Again, you can craft it right from the screen if you want. So just hold triangle. It'll pick it up and craft away. Now this one is not my favorite. Yes, it does a boatload of damage if you hit somebody, but it's kind of weak with the super effect. So you can see that there's 4 explosive shells on the end of this arrow. When you hold down the shoot button, they'll activate. So now they're blinking. So when you shoot this, if you hit someone, it's going to do massive damage, but then after the damage, this is what happens. So let's see if I can shoot it off this, if it'll show. There it goes. So 4 rounds basically deploy and then explode. You have to aim in front. I mean, you want to hit him in the head with the actual arrow, but if you do that, then it's almost impossible to hit with the explosives. And I think the explosives only do 20 damage. So if someone's running from you, you can shoot this in front of them, The arrow will miss, but the explosives will hit him for about 80 damage if they all hit. So it's not that good, but it's kind of fun to use. Now let's make the last example, which is the Shockwave Bow. So I have a makeshift one right here, and you obviously can't do that yet because, like I said, you need a mechanical bow. So if you find a makeshift bow, you have to upgrade it twice. Once to a mechanical, and then again with the shockwaves. But if you just find a mechanical bow on the ground, then you just have to upgrade it with the shockwaves. So here we go. We're going to craft it into a mechanical, 4 mechanical parts. The makeshift bow. Here we go. Now we have mechanical. Now we can walk up to this and we can craft this easily. And it's going to turn into the super powerful Shockwave Bow. This thing is so much fun. Look at that awesome design too. So again, hold down the shoot button, and then it'll charge up with some awesome purple lightning. And basically it works exactly like a shockwave. So I can shoot it straight down. Here we go. And then it launches me straight up, and it only takes 1 arrow. How crazy is that? So also of note, with the Shockwave Bow, if a wall is weak enough, the arrow will go right through, and then the shockwave effect will hit an enemy inside. So it's great for yeeting people into the storm in endgame. So watch this. Right through, and then it explodes. So if he was in that box, it would have yeeted him right out and somewhere else. And again, you can use it for your own mobility. It takes a second after it shoots down. 1, 2. So you've got about 2 seconds before it activates, just like a normal shockwave. And again, you have to fully charge it. If you do a little whissy one, it doesn't work. You have to fully charge it, shoot it down, 1, 2, jump, and away you go. So this is probably the most useful, but the strongest one by far is any of the mechanical ones. So a little more in-depth there with the bows, but with the weapons, it's pretty easy to understand. Now there's one more thing you can craft, and that's the Hunter's Cloak. So in order to craft the Hunter's Cloak, you need a piece of meat as well as an animal bone. Then you go to your inventory and you hover over this, and you can see that it turns into the Hunter's Cloak. So 1 animal bone and 1 piece of meat, craft it up, and this thing basically makes you immune to animals. They won't attack you, they won't run away from you, and you can tame them. So unfortunately, this does go in your inventory and you have to actually wear it. You can't just have it out. So once you do have it acquired, just hit your shoot button, and it takes about 3 seconds to put on, and there it is. So it has unlimited uses. There is a 10-second cooldown, and it will eventually go away on its own, but it lasts quite a long time. However, if you shoot any weapon, or if you take any damage, it goes away. So after a certain amount of time, it goes away on its own, or if you take damage, or if you shoot your weapon. But otherwise, you can tame wolves or boars super easy with this. But again, it does take up a slot in your inventory. So there you go. That's about all there is to it for crafting in Season 6. Again, if you want to craft, basically you just find yourself a makeshift weapon or bow, and that's how you get started. And like I said, there's different rarities for makeshift, so don't always go for the gray ones. If you find a green makeshift or a blue one, pick that up, because for the same price, you can upgrade it 1 rarity higher. So there you go. That's all there is to it. If you still have questions, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to answer as many as I can, but I think I've fully covered everything. If all else fails, just go to your crafting screen and look for the button that says craft, because then you can do it without even thinking, but you do have to make a choice as to which one you want. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. A like is always appreciated, and don't forget to use my Support-A-Creator Code, which is Tabor time.